A Wrinkle in Time is a fantasy book where Meg, Charles, and Calvin go on an adventure. The main character is Meg. She has a special brother, Charles Wallens, and somehow he is very smart and very shy. Charles met three mysterical ladies, Mrs. Who, Mrs. Witch, and Mrs. Wassett, who bring Calvin, a close friend of theirs, Meg, and Charles on a trip off to find their dad who disappeared one night. The three ladies somehow tesseract. It's like teleporting, but it's not really easy to explain. So they tesseract to a planet called Comoets, where they try to find their father. The whole planet of Comoets is under control by a big brain called It. If you look into the man with red eyes, then you get under the control of It too, and Charles Wallens fell for the trick. Soon they found their father, and Meg found out she had the power of love and could get Charles Wallens back to normal. I love this book, but the ending was a little short. I would rate it about a 4.5 out of 5. I would recommend this book to all readers that love adventure.
When someone says hi, say hi back, and chew with your mouth closed. These seem like rules everyone knows, but for 12-year-old Catherine, these are things she has to teach her brother David. All she wants to do is fit in with everyone else, be a normal kid. This is hard when you have an autistic brother and a family revolving around his disability. Then finally she gets an opportunity. A girl her age is moving in next door. This could be a perfect friendship, or a horrible disaster. What if she hates Catherine because of her brother, and Catherine forms an unusual friendship with a boy who can't talk? I would rate this book a 5 out of 5. So many problems make it a page-turner. This realistic fiction takes place in many places, including Catherine's house, Christy's house, the girl next door, the pond, and the OT, the Occupational Therapy Center. I would recommend this book to anyone who likes multiple conflicts in a story and loves a good laugh.
This is a book about a boy named Roy whose family moves a lot. After bouncing around the country, his family comes to Florida. On the bus, he sees a barefooted boy with no backpack about Roy's age running on the sidewalk. Roy is curious. The next time he sees the running boy, Roy runs after him, bumping into a girl with red glasses. Roy fails to catch the boy, and the girl confronts him about running into her. Meanwhile, a pancake company struggles to build a new restaurant because someone keeps vandalizing property. Roy finds out that the girl he ran into is the running boy's stepsister. Roy became friends with the running boy and his sister when he finds out the pancake company is going to bulldoze the owls, which will kill them. Roy is forced to tell his parents about this because the running boy got injured and went to the hospital under Roy's name. The story ends with Roy telling everyone that the pancake company doesn't have the legal forms to bulldoze the owls. At the groundbreaking ceremony, all of his classmates band together and protect the owls. I think this was a very good story, and that it was even better when everything came together and made sense. I would recommend this to readers who like realistic fiction and have a good sense of humor.
December is the annual ceremony of 12, where a boy named Jonas is given his lifetime assignment as a receiver of memories. His role is both vital and greatly honored by his community, shared by only one other person, the giver. Once Jonas begins his training, he ends up learning the terrible secrets of his own home, where there are no choices, music, colors, or love. Wanting to make a change, he and the giver devise a plan. Jonas runs away and leaves the year's worth of memories he had received from the giver to the community. This book, entitled The Giver, is a story I would recommend to a wide variety of readers, or ones that would like to read something out of the ordinary. I would give this book 4 out of 5 stars, since it sometimes lacked detail, but made me greatly appreciate the things we should treasure today.
The story Claudette Colvin, Twice Toward Justice by Philip Cruz, is about a girl by the name of Claudette Colvin who was sick of being mistreated after an incident on a bus. Herself, the whole Montgomery NAACP, which is a civil rights group, some school teachers, and a lawyer by the name of Fred Gray band together to fight for their civil rights. This story took place in Montgomery in the 1950s and 60s. This book is a historical fiction book. This book showed how hard it was for African Americans and how they persevered and never gave up when fighting for their rights, despite the death threats, the beatings, the verbal abuse, and job losses. They persevered and got their rights. I recommend this book to all ages that can read a 5th grade level. It will teach them that if you want something, that you will never give up and persevere until you get it.
The Tale of Despero is about a little mouse that falls in love with a princess named P, a scheme-making rat named Roscoe, and a child servant named Migri-Sao. Roscoe tricked Migri-Sao into kidnapping and hiding the princess in the dungeon, which is filled with twists and turns so nobody can find their way through it. So little Despero goes down to the dungeon to save the princess, and a rat helps him get through the dungeon. While Despero goes through the dungeon, the Princess P is persuading Migri-Sao into letting her go. After Princess P persuades Migri-Sao enough, Despero comes to help. He saves the Princess P, but they couldn't get out of the twists and turns of the dungeon without the help of Roscoe. So the Princess P made a deal with Roscoe. He could live his life in the lightness of the castle and the darkness of the dungeon. So Roscoe helped them, and Despero and the Princess P became best friends. I would recommend this book mainly for younger viewers because it is about a mouse who saves a princess. But I would also recommend this book for older viewers because of the vocabulary and how the book is organized. It would also be a good book to read as a family or to a child. The book is a little confusing because it goes back and forth in time, but everything is explained very well and it is mainly easy to follow. I liked how the author actually talked to the reader to explain things. I also liked how once in a while they had illustrations. I found them entertaining because usually chapter books don't have any illustrations.
In the month of February, I read a book called Joey Pigsaw Loses Control by Jack Contos. In this book, there is a boy named Joey Pigsaw. He has attention deficit hyperactive disorder, but he takes medicine for it. He lives with his mom, who is somewhat overprotective, but since his father recently gets out of jail and has a job coaching a minor league baseball team, he gets visitation rights. So when Joey's school's out, Joey goes to his dad's for summer vacation. As Joey spends more and more time with his dad, he can see that he is getting loopier, but also can tell that Carter is getting meaner and meaner by the minute. Eventually, Carter tells Joey not to use his medicine patches and flushes them all down the toilet. Joey doesn't know what to do at that point. I would rate this book a 4.5 out of 5 because I liked the book, but had some cloudy parts and some other unexplained parts. Otherwise, I really enjoyed this book. I believe the genre of this book is realistic fiction because any real person could go through the things that happened in this book. I would definitely suggest this book to anyone who likes realistic fiction.
The book goes as a realistic fiction and is about a 12-year-old girl named Catherine, who has an autistic brother named David. David is the younger boy he wants friends to play with. In the story, Catherine makes a list of these rules for David. Sometimes David listens to these rules, and sometimes he doesn't. These rules are to help David understand the rights and the wrongs, and also to help him be polite. 2 with your mouth closed. Catherine's best friend Melissa is staying with her dad in California for the summer when Catherine wants to be friends with Christy. Ryan, the neighborhood bully, is always mean to David, and Ryan likes Christy. It takes place at Christy's house in the front lawn. One day when Catherine takes David to occupational therapy, she meets a boy named Jason who is handicapped, which prevents him from talking and walking. Also, Catherine likes Jason. When she finds out Christy is going to be at the dance, Catherine does not want to go to the dance. But then Jason invites her to the dance. Catherine is left with the hard decision as whether or not she wants to be embarrassed or lose a friend. I would rate this book 10 out of 10 stars.